Have you ever feel like you know a lot of a new language? I mean, you can understand TV shows, podcasts, even people with super strong, heavy accents, like those Irish, Scottish accents.
Cold as a cold journey to school this morning.
Oh, God, you wouldn't belong getting frostbite.
But the moment you try to speak, your mind goes blank. You choke, and it's super frustrating. And let's be honest, it gets worse when someone is just standing right in front of you, waiting for your reply.
Tom? Tom?
Super awkward. This is something most language learners face, and it's super common in exams like IELTS. You might ace reading and listening, but completely choke when it comes to speaking and writing. So why does this happen? Let's break it down today. That's because language skills develop differently in our brains. Reading and listening are receptive skills. These develop faster because we're good at recognizing patterns, picking up vocabulary, and making sense of meaning, even if we're not fully fluent. Speaking and writing, on the other hand, are productive skills. They require active recall, forming thoughts, choosing the right words, and putting them together all in real time. So that's much harder because it involves juggling grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, everything all at once. So speaking is a whole nother ballgame. And here's the kicker. Your mouth muscles aren't used to the sounds and rhythms of this new language that you're speaking. Speaking fluently requires physical training for your vocal cords and mouth muscles to produce unfamiliar sounds. It's basically like learning to play a new instrument. You know, this reminds me of the Chinese concept, 知行合一, or unity of knowledge and action, which means true understanding only comes when knowledge is put into practice. Think about tying your shoelaces. You kneel down and tie the knot without even thinking, because you have the knowledge of how to tie a shoe. And you've practiced it many times to the point that you don't have to think about it. It's second nature because the process is deeply ingrained into your neural pathways. And speaking a native language is the same as tying shoelaces. It requires zero effort. But learning a new language is like learning to tie shoelace all over again. It feels clumsy and awkward at first, but with enough practice, it becomes automatic. Every new skill, including language, has 4 stages. The first stage being clueless, where you know nothing at all. The second stage is recognition, where you start recognizing patterns. And the third stage is struggle. You can use your knowledge, but it's challenging. And the fourth stage is fluency, where everything becomes second nature. And you know what's the sad thing is most of us get stuck in stage 3, the struggle. And the only way to break through, I hate to say this, but it's practice. Practice. You gotta practice with real life human beings, because regular speaking practice trains your brain and your mouth to work together hand in hand to boost that reaction speed, taking you from stage 3 to stage 4 fluency. And when it comes to practice, forget about finding free language partners. They're rare, and let's face it, it's hard to connect with people when you can't communicate well, right? Us and ums is just not very attractive.
Can you repeat your question, please?
It's just not. So you must find yourself a one-on-one native language coach, a professional coach who perhaps is a former IELTS examiner that can support you and keep you on track when you stumble. And for me personally, the best place to practice is italki. I've completed 185 lessons on the platform. Guys, that's 185 hours. Which flew by because I genuinely enjoyed it. A language coach is the most efficient way to learn because you practice everything. Listening, forming sentences, mimicking accents all at once, which will greatly improve your reaction speed and improve your fluency.
Like, what kind of advice would you give if someone wants to improve English fluency?
Fluency. I think that's the reason why italki exists, because it's like a gap, isn't it, in the market where people don't have a chance to speak to a native speaker, and it's just through speaking, basically. But it's just putting the hours in. Like, I've got no secret methods, but there's like a click moment. I remember I learned Spanish, and I remember I was this like moment where I realized I could speak. I still remember just talking to some guy in a cafe, and I was thinking like, wow, I can understand what he's saying, and I'm responding, but I really remember that moment. And before then, I was probably translating.
Plus, you get live feedback to correct your mistakes on the spot, which is super, super, super duper important.
When I try to like introduce italki to people, I always introduce it as it's a platform where you don't stress out about making mistakes, right? Because when you speak to a real person in real life, you have this certain social pressure, try to make friends, or you want to crack a joke, you want to make a good time out of it. But then it's challenging. But then if you meet someone on italki, the purpose of this platform is to learn language. It's for you to make mistakes. So you shouldn't have the pressure about making mistakes. And I think the only way to like escalate the speed of learning is just making tons of mistakes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, get past them as quick as you can. And if you talk to friends or somebody, that they're not really going to listen to you for an hour. That's the truth. They're not going to have patience. So that's why you're paying for someone's time, isn't it? So people think, oh, it's just like I could do that with my friend, but no, he can you really sit down with him for an hour and he's going to listen to you? And
I was very nervous the first time I had French lessons on italki. I mean, at the time, I couldn't even introduce myself. But after speaking with 5 or 6 different teachers on italki, I completely transformed. I'm not afraid of real-time conversations anymore. And I think they even turned me into an extrovert. And here's the best part. It's more affordable than you think. Classes on italki start at just 36 RMB. That's about the price of a Starbucks coffee. And no advance payment required. You can pay as you go. italki is your language coach, where you can use your new skills without stress. And they offer more than 150 languages. So no matter which language you're learning, Swahili or whatever, you're going to find it on italki. Guys, seriously, there's no shortcuts at this stage. Think of pilots. They weren't born flying planes. They spent countless amount of hours in flight simulators, making tons of mistakes and learning from them. And you need to do the same thing as well. You need a language simulator where you can speak freely, make mistakes, and learn without pressure. So start practicing today, book that first lesson, make those mistakes, and watch yourself improve. Remember, fluency isn't magic. It's practice, persistence, and patience. And lastly, don't be afraid to speak with native speakers. They appreciate your effort. Imagine a foreigner struggling to speak Chinese to you. You wouldn't laugh. You'd probably find it cute and you want to help, right? All right, guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll upload the voice tape of this video on my podcast channel, TCTL Chen Shu. If you guys are interested, you guys can find my podcast on all the major podcast platforms. And have a good one, and I hope to see you guys soon. Peace.